minutes. Coming live, Real Texas Talk. 5 minutes. H-Town, it's going down. Your boy Blastoff, Real Texans Talk, live at 5 in the building. You know what it is, man. It's going down. Real Texans Talk tonight. We got a H-Town extravaganza, man. Your boy Larry and Stafford in the building, as you can see, the one and only Houston Sports Talk legend. You got Mr. AD, H-Town Rundown, live in effect. How y'all feeling, fellas? It's going down tonight, man. We finna keep it real, raw, and unfiltered, man. Real Texans Talk. I'm so honored, man, to have these two gentlemen here, man. Some guys that are well known. If you're a Texans fan, diehard Texans fan base, you've seen these guys across your social media feeds, your YouTubes, your Twitters, wherever you get your Texans content from. You can't miss it without getting these guys. Fellas, welcome to the show. You know, I'm honored to have you brothers here, man, and glad you guys are rocking with your boy Blastoff, man, tonight. And this is going to be a special little occasion, man, where we finna get real raw. You're going to get the real content, the real heat from the streets dealing with your boy Blastoff. How y'all doing, fellas?
We doing good, baby B. Hey, man, look here. You know how we get down, man. It's an honor to be on your show, man. To get in here to talk about what we expect these boys to do now that we're in the playoffs, and I get to kick it with you and AD, man. So it's a good night for your boy Stafford, man.
Absolutely, man. Look, we here, and it's a great day to be a Texan fan, man.
Hey, a very great day. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. The Texans going into Pittsburgh Monday night for a showdown with the one and only Aaron Rodgers, man. And you know that was a crazy game that happened the other night, man, with these boys, you know, going head to head with the Baltimore Ravens, man. That was a crazy ending, man. But you know, they offensive line and the way I think that I don't see how those guys are gonna be able to push through, you know, against this ferocious Texans defense, man. But you know, anyway, man, Larry, man. You know, bro, we thank you for being here, bro. And you know, I had to get you two fellas together, man. I was on the rundown with AD not too long ago, and you know, you tapped in and you had some comments to say, man, that were you know stirring up a little, you know, hey, because AD got his takes and his viewpoints, and you got your viewpoints, and I say, you know what, man, I'm gonna find a way to get these brothers together in the same space at the same time, man, to talk Texans, because this is gonna be interesting, man. This is gonna draw a lot of ire, man, a lot of eyes, man. Want to see what you guys, some Texas historical diehard fans, man, got to say, man. When you put like-minded gentlemen in the same room, man, that's like a story, man. It's like a movie, man. So you know, here we are, man. Hey, AD, man. You know, what's been going on, bro? You just did drop one episode last night, man, and it went off, man. Talking about the what happened with the Colts game and whatnot, and you going ahead and looking at what's going on with Pittsburgh going on, bro. Shout out to
Yeah.
Clayton too, man. Shout out to
Shout
Clayton.
out.
Shout out
Shout
to
out
them
to
boys, man.
Look, shout out to my boy Clayton, man. Yeah, we were just talking about the season in review. How did we get here? How did we end up in this situation where we about to be on the verge of a Super Bowl?
Yeah, definitely.
We started 0-3, we started rough, and how did we end up on a 9-game win streak? And we just talked about it all, the good, the bad, and shedding light on the positive on what we are now and going into the Super Bowl run, man. Emphasis on the Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hey, and you know what, bro? They still doubting us, dude. You go over to social media, they still doubting us, dude. They still thinking that, I just seen some Nick Wright today. He's saying we're gonna lose the game. We've been proving these guys wrong. This been a season of actually putting people's faces in their own cake. They talking all this smack, and here you go, bow. They say we wasn't gonna beat Kansas City, bow. They say we wasn't gonna beat the Colts. You know what I mean? They say we wasn't gonna beat Buffalo. You know what I mean? They say we wasn't gonna beat the Chargers. You know what I mean? They still counting us out, Rocky. They steady counting us out. They steady counting us out, Rocky. You know what I mean?
Look here, B, Blastoff. Hey, let them do that. Let them do exactly what they doing, man. Because here's the thing, it don't even matter. D'Amico and all them boys already told you they don't care about none of the noise outside, man. And the truth of the matter is this. They can talk all they want to talk, but they know what they got to deal with when it's time to, flip that coin and throw that ball up and start playing some football. And the main thing about what AD was saying about, just doing a season in review and how did we get here, we spent a lot of time over there on Kirby and training camp, man. So we had eyes on them boys in camp, just seeing how things was gonna, play out. And we noticed right out the box that defense was giving that offense in training camp. They was giving them the blues, man.
The business, boy.
Them boys couldn't score. They was frustrated. You saw CJ looking frustrated, and at that time, man, everybody just thinking that okay, it's gonna get right, and everything was just gonna play out the way we thought it was because they was just iron sharpening iron, right? And then the season jump off, and then all of a sudden, all hell break loose. But when I say all hell break loose, if we're gonna be honest, we was losing those games on our own. We was causing those losses in the first three, man. And so when everybody was talking, D'Amico was talking about, we're close and we're close. The frustrating part was we didn't want to have to go through that 0-3 part, but maybe it was a blessing in disguise, man, because now you're here and you get an opportunity to really just look back on the things and put it in a positive way that now maybe that'll be able to build that strength that they're going to need to get them through these next 4 games.
Yeah.
You know what? And not to cut you guys off, but you kind of hit where I want to go get started at, and that's just I want to take a quick look back, fellas, on, where we started at. And I spoke with Larry earlier today, and I was like, bro, I kind of want to go back to, 2 or 3 years ago when, when it all started, how we started before we even got knowing what we had when we had D'Amico, when we had CJ come in and Will behind them. But you know what, to cut it shorter, I guess we can go from where we started this season and where we at now. What you think has changed? Because I got a few numbers I want to throw out at you fellas in view of perspective of how we started out. Because to me it was more the same. Like, hey man, you know what? The offensive line still shaky. They still rotation. They still rotating guys around. Guys still getting hit injured early. Guys still causing controversy. And those things. So, I just, in my personal opinion, is just to start it off, we can go and look at how at the beginning of the season, all right, we went 0-3. And some of these same problems, which had a lot of people jumping off the bandwagon.
Right.
The offensive line looking bad. They didn't have Laramie Tunsil. Oh boy. We don't have Laramie. You got this rookie left tackle coming in from Minnesota, the University of Minnesota out there, and
Ursery.
And we weren't sure what he was going to be and how he was going to look stepping into that role as the one of the more important pieces on that offensive line, the blind side. So Uh, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he's stirring up trouble. Freelancing, costing us a game or two. You had Jimmy Ward, getting caught. Some little drama in his neck of the woods. Brevin Jordan got injured. Who they brought in, Cam Robinson, rode the bench, $14 million to ride the bench, and they were just rotating guys in and out. And if you ask me from my perspective, man, one of the things that I can see from the very beginning, when people were when other guys, I feel like the fan base was not giving this guy recognition, and Nick Caserio, man, I call him calculated Caserio. I call him calculated Caserio for a reason, man. And you know what, man? I just feel like Caserio in himself, man. I seen a question posed. Would you, if you had a choice to pick? Now, this is gonna cause a lot of controversy. This finna cause a lot of controversy. What I say? If you had to choose between Caserio and D'Amico and CJ. Who would you pick, man, to stay on this squad? And I think it all started with Calculated Caserio. I've been calling the brother Calculated Caserio because none of this stuff, the moves he's made, we question him. He didn't make moves in the trade deadline and all of these things. Like, man, he need to get this guy. He need to get this guy. We need a safety or whatever the case was. Whatever we needed. He didn't get this guy. Hey, man, the guy sat pat on his hands and he the smartest man. That statement when they used to always say Bill O'Brien was the smartest man in the room. To me, Caserio was the smartest man in the room, bro. We all thought, and even I doubted him at a certain. I was calling him calculated and praising, singing his praises, but eventually I started to question him. But now after the 0-3 start, but now it's showing up that hey, patience is a virtue. If you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. If you ask me.
I'm gonna let AD hit
that. So I'm gonna say it like this, man. If you asked the question, the original question was, who would you choose out of those three to rock with? I mean, you got to go with the guy who got us here, and that's D'Amico Ryans. D'Amico Ryans is the guy that you roll with, and I feel like if there was ever a fire, D'Amico Ryans is the one that's gonna come out and emerge out of that fire out of those three. Because players, as we know, players come and go. GMs, they come and go. Nick Caserio was on his last leg, brother, before he before he got here. I hear a little echo, but
right on.
And then you go into the part of D'Amico Ryans being an excellent technician, tactician, and coach.
Yeah,
and
something's echoing.
Yeah, something echoing.
Oh, my fault.
Okay. You good?
Yeah.
Go ahead, AD.
All right, there we go. So, as far as D'Amico Ryans, he's the guy. So I look at it again. Nick Caserio has done a lot of reactionary things. And he's made mistakes along the way, which nobody's perfect. But Nick Caserio deserves praise as well for getting his roster to where it is and being able to work with D'Amico Ryans to get the roster to where it needs to be. But definitely shout out Nick Caserio and what he's done to bolster this roster and do what we need to do and help D'Amico find the right pieces, especially on the defensive side of the football, to have the number one defense in the NFL. And to go ahead and get CJ the weapons on offenses. I think I said it last night on the rundown. This offense is extremely young.
Yeah.
You look at it with Higgins, with Noel, with Marks, with CJ. Even when Tank comes back, even offensive line with Ursery. You got Titus, who's still a young offensive lineman in his own right, even though he's been here almost a decade. He's still age-wise, he's still young. I don't think he's 30 yet. So you have all these different pieces to build around offensively and defensively. So Nick Caserio definitely deserves, a tip of the cap for what he's done building this roster. But at the end of the day, the main one, the head honcho is D'Amico Ryans, and you got to ride with D'Amico.
I'll co-sign a lot of what AD just said, man, in terms of who you're gonna allow to be. If I had to choose, it's definitely gonna be D'Amico and CJ. And here's the reason why. We saw, and just going from a historical perspective, they knew back in 2022 that this thing had gotten completely off the rails with that whole experience with OB and Jack, right, Easterby. And so they knew it was off the rail, man, and there was gonna be a change once they decided to move on from Cully and then Lovey and all of that. It took the right person to come into this situation that understood what this city was about, what this franchise was about. It had the character, the integrity, and the football knowledge to be able to get this thing back on track. And so the moment they hired D'Amico Ryans, I'm talking the moment, you could feel that the whole city embraced it, they had changed it, and they needed it. Because I remember when I saw him when he came into town for the press conference, man, and they brought him over there to Papados, and he walked in, man, and I'm telling you, man, everybody in that restaurant just lit up, man, like it was Christmas. Because we knew that somebody had just thrown us a life raft. And Cal and Hannah made that decision that they would go out and get a young head coach that had actually played in this organization, so that they knew that he had some love for it, some value for it. And for him to walk in this situation and knowing that the players were down and how the city was feeling, that lifted the entire city up. And so when he got in and started implementing his rotation or his plan, you could see that everybody was buying in. Mm-hmm. And when you get that kind of, you got to be a special person, both just in your professional life and your personal life, that you can get a group of men to follow you to go into battle like D'Amico did. And he got, and the main thing about it was he had pelts on the wall because he had actually played the game.
Yeah.
So he wasn't going to be coming at you from a perspective where he's just a coach or whatever. He physically had played the game at a high level. And for him to come in, man, you know, what he's done, and this isn't discarding Nick, because what Nick is doing in terms of roster building and all of that, that goes without saying, because you and I all know, all of us all know that you have to be able to make sure that you have players to be able to play, because the season is a long season. So they work hand in hand about making this thing the way it is, and that we're sitting here now on the verge of being able to potentially go to the Super Bowl.
But you know what, man? Hey, I think you got an echo, Larry. They saying you got an echo. Did you check your?
Okay. I just turned the mic down and seeing if it's straight.
Okay.
So
Hey, tap in, chat. If you hear that echo, chat, tap in. Let us know, man. We set this up. This is a new setup on the Real Texans Talk, and appreciate you. If you can hear chat, let us know if you hear any echoes or any echoes or anything like that, so that way we can get it straightened out. But yeah, man, I gotta agree with you guys. You know, D'Amico was the guy that I think can overcome. But it does take you know what? It ain't no iron team. You gotta have everything complementary. The football, same with the offense, same with the defense, same with the special teams, same with the front office. Okay, hold on. Is there an echo with me, everybody's mic, or is there an echo with Larry? Or is it a certain person mic? Is it an echo with my mic, or is it a certain person? Let us know, chat.
We can try to still see if it's mine.
Either way, when you talk about complementary football, you know, it starts at the foundation, which is the front office. Your front office all messed up. It's gonna trickle down. Oh, it just say Larry. Say you got an echo, Larry. You say talk so they can see. They say just Larry. Talk again, Larry, so they can see. Maybe
Man,
turn your computer down. You know what? If you got YouTube on your computer, turn that off. Do you got YouTube on? If you got anything on your browser, like if you got a YouTube open on your browser or anything, like you watching it on your browser or on your phone or something, turn it off and turn off.
Nah, this the only thing I got open, man. And if this mic as much money as I pay for this mic and it's echoing, I'm gonna throw it out the front door.
No. Just check your make sure you got everything on your desktop on your computer, muted.
Yeah.
Except for
not in
the chat, but just put on mute. Put your PC on mute, bro.
I got you.
Okay, we can still hear you. We can still hear you. Maybe
we'll work through it. It's all good. We'll work through it.
Yeah. And so like I say, I always say you fixed it. It's fixed. So yeah, you fixed it, bro. You fixed it.
Okay.
You good deal. So like I was saying, man, it starts in the front office, man. And we can go but think about it, bro. Let's think about this, fellas. Come on, AD. I'm finna tell you some real hit. I'm finna tell you a hitter. It doesn't start, and nobody gonna give this guy credit. But who was the person that pivoted from all of the advice that he was getting from all across from what's his name? What they want to say it was gonna be a round table after that loss to Kansas City. After they lost to Kansas City, when the Deshaun era, when they broke the team apart after that, there was supposed to be a round table with what's his name, the ex-coach of I always forget his name.
Bill O'Brien and Jack Easterby.
No, yeah, but what was the coach of the Colts? They won with the Buccaneers, Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. Tony Dungy, and all those guys were supposed to be a part of a round table. Remember? And I think they was going to get a bunch of GMs, man, that was going to come and advise Cal McNair on who to draft for a GM and whatnot. Okay? And so they thought we were going in a different direction, and Deshaun was supposed to be a part of that decision, and that was part of the reason why he left. But Cal pivoted and went and did his own thing, man, and went and scooped in and swooped up after the first initial year when they were threatening us with tampering. He went on ahead and got, your boy, Nick Caserio, and everybody was mad. But I didn't understand that because the year before, when the Texans had beat, when the Texans had beat, had lost in the battle with Kansas City, everybody was wanting Nick Caserio. Everybody wanted, and then we was getting the tampering charges. Everybody was excited. But for some reason, after whatever year that had the final year when Deshaun was here and JJ left, so it's gonna be the same Patriot way. And Cal pivoted and went and got Nick Caserio.
Well, I don't think
with the owner, bro. Cal McNair was the one that decided to go ahead and go get, I
don't think he pivoted.
Your boy. Say it again.
Yeah.
I don't think he pivoted. I think that's who his dad wanted, and I think that's who the family wanted from the get-go. And I think fans were pissed off because they were tired of the New England way and Patriot way. And you bringing in Nick Caserio just pissed everybody off even more because it was more of the same. And then you brought in alongside, you had Jack Easterby already in the building with the whole situation, and people had a sour taste in their mouth with that because of DeAndre Hopkins trade. And then you had JJ Watt, requesting to leave because of it. So he didn't pivot. He just intensified the pissed offness of the fan base. And fortunately, shout out to Cal McNair and Hannah McNair for sticking to it and seeing it all the way through. But yeah, that was a dark time because it was really, really hard to see a vision with Nick Caserio in that building with all of the distrust and distaste that was left by Jack Easterby and Bill O'Brien.
Well, and during that time, everybody was just at a breaking point, man, because there was just so much going on over there. And the fans, we had experience watching Cully coach, we had experience watching Lovey coach, and we had, just seen I think it was that Colts game when Lovey went for 2 and we was in a position to have the first pick, and we thought we had messed up and blew that because we wasn't going to be able to get the quarterback everybody wanted. I thought we should have got it, whether it was Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, but we knew that we wanted one of those two dudes.
Yeah.
Fans may have wanted one person, and the organization may have wanted somebody else, but
Larry, I would look. You know what happened. You know what happened, and you know why people were pissed off, because you knew if the Texans had the number 1 pick, they couldn't have a choice but to take a quarterback.
That's correct.
The distrust in this organization still was we were going to pass on the quarterback with the number 2 pick overall, and people were going to be pissed off even more. And you talking about picketing, they were going to try to burn down NRG if we had passed on the quarterback again. And we all love Will Anderson now.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you now, if we had taken Will Anderson and not taken CJ Stroud or Bryce Young with that first pick, I don't care what we did after.
Yeah,
it would have been over with.
It was gonna be bad. And you know, AD, again, we all had the conversations that, man, if they don't take a quarterback, we're gonna be in trouble, man, because we had just watched how bad we were struggling, whether it was with Davis Mills or whatever, and the fans were just on the brink, man. But here's the thing: they made some tough decisions, and they knew that one of the main things they had to do was get these fans back on board. And so you remember they did a full transformation, man, where they became more visible. They became more outwardly present in a training camp and engaging in things on with the fans. They started initiating different fan ideas that they wanted to get the fan council, whatever it was. They had to get everybody to buy back in. But D'Amico played a huge a huge part in that, because it just made it a lot easier, because most of the people in the city had grew up watching D'Amico play football wearing that number 59 over there on Kirby. And we knew how much of a damn good football coach he was, on what he did in Philadelphia and then what he did in San Francisco. But not getting the quarterback was going to be a huge problem for everybody, and we all know it. And so for Nick to do for Nick to do what he did in terms of moving up in that draft and getting you a stout quarterback and a stout defensive player in Will Anderson, that is what has brought us to this point right now.
How many picks was it, Larry?
Hey, rest in peace to my dog, C-Raw, man. I think we gave up 3, but I think everybody said
about 4, man. About 4. About 4. Go ahead.
But the thing is that, you know, we can look at it now and just say that there was a whole bunch of changes that needed to be made, and shout out to them for doing it, because we didn't think we'd get here this fast. But to be able to look back at the last 3 years and see that this team has been in the playoffs the last 3 years based on some of the decisions that they made after that draft with CJ and Will Anderson, that just shows you that at some point the ship got righted, because they understood that football is king in the state of Texas, king in Houston. And those 3 decisions, hiring D'Amico, getting CJ, getting Will Anderson, that has just really set the foundation for what this franchise can really become.
And you know what, guys? Like I say, man, I can't argue with either point in either person. I just go back to my point of, it ain't no I in team, and it starts with the foundation. So we can say that his dad wanted him to get him or whatever the case, but it was still Bob been dead. Bob, rest in peace, Bob. But Bob is passed, so whether it was his will, because he could have did whatever he wanted to do and thought he could have had that. If that was the case where he did it because his father wanted to do it, he could have been big-headed and like, I know better than my father. You know, some people think that the youth think that we modernize over our parents and that what they taught us we can do better, and then we end up bumping our heads and be like, I told you. So but you know, it's ultimately starts with the main, you know, he had the ultimate say. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, but did this brother not have the ultimate say in who they got at the time when they went and got Caserio? because he went out on faith or whatever he called it. His wife, hey, if you ask anybody, she's been just as instrumental in his development of this team and the turnaround of this team as him himself. Maybe she got in his ear, but I was so glad that Nick Caserio was able to come in here and not do it the Patriots way.
Oh, no. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. No, he did it. He tried the Patriots way.
Yes, sir.
Let us not forget. Because he showed enough tried the Patriots way, and it did not work. Let us
know
not
what?
look.
He tried it with the people that these guys were dummy people. The Cully, the Cully, and the Lovey,
no, you missing it. You missing it.
Blastoff, let AD hit you with this, man, because
that's what it's about, baby.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, just so you know, before D'Amico was hired, Nick Caserio, he was this close. He did close to be gone. He was on the edge. But the Patriot way stuff, again, by hiring David Culley, by hiring Lovie Smith, by fumbling the Deshaun Watson trade. Yes, it looks great now, but the fact that it took so long and the whole situation was fumbled.
Yes.
Let's be real, that situation was fumbled. Nick Caserio, and I don't blame Nick Caserio that much because he walked into that situation because of the Jack Easterby and all that stuff like that. But he didn't make it any better. There was a lot of trials and tribulations with Nick Caserio and this roster. And I hate to say it, but it was said before. We fell ass backwards into a lot of stuff. And you can't look as much as we give Nick Caserio credit. There's certain things I just can't give. I can't give Nick all that glory. I just can't, because I think if we've hired the wrong coach twice.
Yes, sir.
We hired the wrong coach twice.
But
you almost hired the coach that got everybody fired. Made people want to change ownership in Josh McCown. So let us not forget that is the Patriot way.
I'm gonna say this. Just let me say this. I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I promise you, bro, that I am and you know what John Lopez said. Right, those 3 years with Cully, Crennel, and Lovie Smith.
Yeah.
John Lopez came out on the radio he said it's gonna be about a 3-year rebuild. Nobody was gonna come back in here when we didn't have anything. We had gave away all our draft capital. We had traded away all this stuff. Bill O'Brien had tore his team apart. So those first 3 years, I was like, how can anybody expect Caserio to work a miracle out of this? The guy worked a miracle in 3 years. You turn this team from trash to Super Bowl ready. I can't get. Listen, I'm telling you.
I see what's happening here.
Time out, fellas. Y'all gotta hold up. Y'all tripping, man.
He done drunk the Kool-Aid.
No, why is it? No, I've been calling this brother. Why is it that we were putting so much onus on this guy the first 3 years? We didn't have anything, bro. We were running with who? Who are we running with? Tom Savage. Who are we running with, man?
Hold on. Go ahead, AD. Blastoff, hold on.
Bro, y'all tripping.
No,
we didn't have nothing to fight with, bro.
You're getting a little too far, and you're going a little bit too far to the left. Let's reel it back, because again, I'm gonna say it again. Nick Caserio gets credit where it's due. But the credit you trying to give Nick Caserio is not the credit that he deserves.
Wait. I'm just saying it starts with the seeds that were planted.
It doesn't.
It's Nick Caserio's ultimate decision.
Okay, let me just paint it. Let me just paint it right here, because first off, you didn't have a first round draft pick the first year. That's the first thing. And he made do with what was due. He was lucky enough to get Nico Collins in that draft. Marquise. Shout out. So, but let's go the following year when you do have a first round pick. Okay, you got you had a number 3 pick. Where else were you gonna go in that draft? What are you picking? It wasn't a quarterback draft.
Nope.
It was a it wasn't really a defensive player in that draft that you really can hang your hat on, because look at him now, and you lucked up, not lucked up, but Derek Stingley fell in your lap. Derek Stingley fell in your lap. That, like, again, I'm not trying to rain on Nick Caserio's parade.
I'm gonna do it.
I know, yeah. Look, I'm gonna let you go for it, but I'm gonna tell you
Y'all
this.
gonna get off my boy.
I'm gonna
I'm
tell
rocking with him.
no. I'm gonna tell you this. I could, as you met me in person, Blastoff, Larry. You know, my short ass could have dunked that basketball.
Exactly.
Okay, so like, we're not about to give credit for a alley oop that's right there on a 2-foot goal. We're not about to do that. So again, you talking about building a roster like you had nothing. You had nothing. So when the cupboards are bare, and Nick Caserio, there's so many players that came in and out of this organization during that transition period.
Yeah.
That you had no choice but to find the talent and find the help, like, because you try so many options and so many things. Again, like the Deshaun Watson trade it just escalated it, because you fell into Derek Stingley, you fell into Jalen Petrie, you fell into, the following year. Who was it the following year? Larry, help me out here.
After Jalen Petrie.
Yeah, it was the next year. It was Derek Stingley, Jalen Petrie that year, and then it was Kenyon Green.
It was Kenyon Green and
Oh, it was Kenyon Green and Stingley at the same time, right?
same time, and then the next year was CJ and Will, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be 20. That would be 23.
Yeah. So again, the 3 years, it was Nico Collins' year with Davis Mills, then it was Derek Stingley, Kenyon Green, Jalen Petrie, and then you fell into CJ Stroud and Will Anderson. And again, if as much crap as we got about the trade, I'm gonna go back to that Will Anderson trade. If the roles were reversed, we'd be, pitchforking because we got Will Anderson first. But the trade would have worked if you would have did that trade for CJ Stroud, and nobody would have blinked an eye.
Nah.
Wouldn't have had no complaints about it. I just think if you reversed it. But go ahead, Larry, and go on.
All right.
He got to learn about Nick Caserio.
Blastoff. Look, there's nothing wrong with feeling the way you feel about Nick Caserio. That we can say we hear now because he played a role in getting the coverage full again, right? But Nick Caserio was in that building along with Jack Easterby, trying to position themselves with, being the general manager and the faith counselor or whatever, while he was still trying to keep Jack Easterby in that building. It took Cal McNair and Hannah McNair to finally realize, hearing from Andre Johnson say that Jack Easterby is the worst thing that ever happened to this organization, for them to finally get him out of the building. Now, having said that, this is about football. And when you play football, you are required to have football players. And so what the Texans did during those lean years, when they went and got Nico Collins, Derek Stingley, and missed on Kenyon Green and things like that, they were rebuilding this franchise from the ground up. And Nick Caserio, with all of his experience and his Super Bowl rings and everything he did in New England, he was trying to make that a thing down in H-Town, and it wasn't going to work because everybody was done with that whole concept that we have to be like New England. And so when you go out and you get somebody completely void of that New England way, which DeMeco Ryans is completely void of that because he's his own man. He decided that he was going to work with Nick Caserio in the capacity that they were going to work hand in hand on making this franchise what it is now. Now, you can't do that if you don't have a franchise quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key to everything. If they had taken Will Anderson first, they would have missed out on getting a quarterback in that year. Because somebody else, Carolina would have taken somebody, and then somebody, maybe Arizona or somebody, take CJ. But taking the quarterback first and then making a trade to get the defensive player, you allowed yourself to have foundational pieces that weren't in that building to build what D'Amico now is calling swarm, right? It was a culture thing. That culture over there was toxic, man. The stadium was empty. Nobody was enjoying it. It was just bad. But it took those kind of decisions between D'Amico and Nick to get it done. But Nick Caserio cannot be walking around here eating a bowl of grapes just thinking that he is the catalyst for all of this. And matter of fact, he'll tell you himself that he leaned on D'Amico Ryans a lot to be able to make sure that he was getting the kind of players that fit what D'Amico wanted. Not what he wanted, what D'Amico wanted. And that's what we're seeing now, because if you go back and you just look at what we're watching, what we watched this season, every single one of those players, from free agents that they bring in on the defensive line, to the way the linebackers play, to the way Kamari Lassiter and the way D'Amico talk about all those guys, those are D'Amico Ryan players.
And listen, and you know what, man? I guess we gonna have to agree to disagree, because I'm not saying okay. So time out.
You gonna have to do that. You ain't gonna let that. It ain't gonna fly over here.
Is that this whole organization has built a complementary organization, and it took certain guys to make certain decisions.
In spite of
somebody else may have came in here, and D'Amico wouldn't have wanted to come here. Yeah, and I don't think, and I got to disagree with you fellas. I don't think that Nick Caserio, he was buddy with Jack Easterby, but I think Nick Caserio already wanted to establish his own identity. You got to think that Nick Caserio. Wait, time out. You got to think Nick Caserio didn't come here with Jack Easterby. Jack Easterby went down there to try to get him, but I think Jack Easterby was only here with 1 year with Nick Caserio. You can't say that Nick Caserio was a de facto GM for 19 years in New England, bro. He was a de facto GM for 19 years. So and think about how that team broke down when he left. He was making a lot of decisions that they would say that Bill Belichick thought that he was making, but he learned something. You got to take, the brother may have learned a bunch of things, man. I just want to say that. Okay, I give you whatever you say. I just think that the bad now, his own identity, and I've been watching I've been studying these guys, analyzing these guys.
Whatever analysis,
magnifying glass, and I just
whatever
think
analysis
came in here with his
whatever
own
analysis
identity,
that
man, and he turned his team around, bro. You had to go. You couldn't do nothing the first 3 years. We already knew that. You got to go and lose out. You couldn't get nobody in here to win,
blast
bro.
off.
Whatever in here to win.
Whatever analysis or whatever book you are reading from, you need to go and find the biggest burn bag and throw that book in that bag, because
bro.
That's fine. You can rock with him.
The catalyst of everything. No. He's one of the beginning.
No, that's the picture you was just painting.
But the picture, I'm with. See, now you me and AD finna team up on you, because you continuously trying to rewrite what we saw. We know that Nick Caserio.
I'm rocking with Brando. Keep it 100.
We know that Nick Caserio was doing some things behind the scene, along with Jack Easterby, to ingrain themselves into the Houston Texans. But the thing about it was never going to work, because you had rodents in the house. Jack Easterby was a rodent. If Andre Johnson, your greatest player in the history of your franchise, not named J.J. Watt, right? If he tells the owners, I am not going to be a part of this organization as long as this dude is here, Nick Caserio could have stood on every table over there on Kirby, and they was going to get rid of him, get rid of Jack Easterby, because there was no way they were going to allow this franchise to bottom out the way that it had already done the previous 3 years. Yeah. So that kind of change that they made was facilitated by getting that person out. But this whole infatuation that Nick Caserio is some kind of savant genius because of what he did in the last, no, he ain't. What he has done was he has used his ability to get draft picks to position himself to draft the cornerstone players that they needed to rehabilitate this franchise, and that's what they did. Now, we can get off this subject and talk, because I want to talk about...
Hold on. One last thing, Larry, because we're going to move on. Let us not forget that thanks to Hannah McNair that we even got a franchise quarterback, because the man still was so infatuated with Will Anderson that we made the trade to get Will Anderson. Will
Yes, sir.
Anderson was the pick. Let us not forget, Will Anderson was the pick.
He
at
was the
number
pick.
2.
Yes.
And Hannah McNair, God thank Hannah McNair, because she said and put her foot down and said, not in
Yeah.
my house. You ain't doing this in my house. You're not about to tank and ruin this franchise for years to come.
No.
As great as a player as Will Anderson would have been, if you didn't get a franchise quarterback, this franchise would have been dead on arrival.
So you saying
And we wouldn't be here.
So you guys are saying that it was up to him. I wasn't inside of
It
the
wasn't
information
up
on
to
that.
Hannah
So I'm just
McNair.
asking.
She put her foot down because she was in the room and he was gung ho on Will Anderson. And this is before D'Amico. If D'Amico was the head coach or not, he was gung ho on Will Anderson. And I'm telling you, as much praise as Nick Caserio has, and I said it before, Nick Caserio has fallen ass backwards into some great situations. Yes, of course it's gonna be D'Amico's
because they said D'Amico said his brother called him, say, "Hey, you got to go look at this guy Will Anderson."
I'm telling you, brother. Nick Caserio had his eye on Will Anderson the year before.
I mean, everybody did.
He had been talking about Will Anderson before D'Amico was even hired. So I'm telling you.
But was that a bad choice?
Yes.
This guy has
No.
Nobody ever said that.
No, it's not a bad choice.
It wouldn't. I'm just saying.
It's
I'm just throwing it out there. It wouldn't have been a bad choice.
It's a horrible choice. It's a horrible choice
if you don't take a franchise quarterback.
We won 3 games, y'all fellas. We won. This defense is
and
so
we
good.
would have won
3
3
games
again
in a row with Davis Mills.
And we would have won 3.
We wouldn't be here without Davis Mills.
3 again. We would have won 3 again.
Oh Lord.
No, wait, time out, bro.
Lord.
All I'm saying is, I ain't listen. Hold up, Larry. All I'm saying is,
Lord.
Listen, y'all. All I'm saying is, without a quality backup like Davis Mills, we wouldn't have been here. That guy who made that decision to win that Jacksonville Jaguars game, brother? That game was on the line.
What game you talking about?
All I'm saying is we got one of the top quality backups in the league. That's all I'm saying.
Look,
that's all I'm saying.
No. Look.
So you're saying
no. This man was ready to ride with Davis Mills as his franchise quarterback, not a quality backup. Davis Mills, again, we fell ass backwards into a quality backup.
Yes.
We fell ass backwards into a quality backup of Davis Mills. He wanted Davis Mills as the franchise. That's what you missing.
Look.
He didn't look. And Brando, y'all can sit up here and we not about to sit up here and make this episode about Nick Caserio. Nick Caserio has done his job and done a great job. But again, some of these decisions are layups or alley-oop dunks on 2-foot goals. This is not hard. I could have came in. I have no experience in the NFL locker room, and I could have made those same decisions. And would y'all be calling me a great GM? No, exactly. Because I don't know nothing.
But think about
again. I'm not trying to think about it because it's BS. I'm about to make because it's BS.
Now listen, you bullheaded because you got some strong takes. You got some strong takes on some things. But all I'm saying, fellas, is you don't. I just want to get a brother credit. I'm gonna get a brother credit.
Nobody's taking it away though. But who's taking it away?
That's all I'm saying. I get it, bro. I'm saying
who's taking it away though?
Your foundation was strong, man. They came together, complementary foundation in the front office is leading to a complementary foundation on the field. That's all I'm saying.
Blastoff. Nobody's trying to deprive Nick Caserio of credit. What you're trying to do is paint a picture that he's the catalyst for this turnaround.
But see, that's a misunderstanding. I'm just saying you're a great GM. Because you don't think Nick Caserio, you got to do anybody in this room don't think Nick Caserio a great GM? That's how I want that. That's
great. I don't think he's great. Great is
not drafting Kenyon Green.
Yeah.
Great
Great is having the sense to build an offensive line.
Yes.
Not keep paying Laramie Tunsil over and over again.
He did
that.
That was his decision to get rid
Yeah,
of
but
to
that
trade
means
off
you
Larry
ain't
Tunsil.
great.
Look at where we sitting at now. We finna get that second round pick from Washington. That's look like it's gonna be a nice pick.
And Blastoff, guess what? He could have did that 2 years before that.
Before
got
we
even
paid.
better, and got an even better pick.
Don't forget, hey, we all allowed to bump our heads and make mistakes. It's better to go ahead
But
and get it
nobody-
eventually
but
than not
nobody
get it.
said- but-
And he
but
still
nobody
got him
said-
early. He still got him early.
Nobody's saying again. I have to reemphasize this. Nobody's saying that Nick Caserio's job that he's done has not been respected and has not been good. I'm personally not about to sit up here and say he's a great GM. I'm not, because again, great GMs do masterful things. He has not done a masterful thing. What he has done is the easy thing.
Yes, all the things that have fallen into his laps. And also, great GMs don't come to the barbecue capital of the world and tell everybody in that same city that he don't eat barbecue at his press conference and all this other kind of stuff. But here's the thing. On the Larry Tunsil deal that you're talking about, Larry Tunsil wasn't the left tackle that they should have traded for when they had Trent Williams out there that was living in Mo City. We've had this discussion about all this. But the bottom line is this. We're here now because of D'Amico Ryan and Nick Caserio and Hannah and Cal. And so we're ready to enjoy what
and CJ and Will.
And CJ and Will and Derek and everybody else
Yeah,
over there.
everybody
But
else.
what we're trying to do now is get off this damn subject and move on to why we in the playoffs. Because I don't want to talk about these boys no more.
That's a touchy. I see guys that's a touchy subject, and
No, it's not.
That'll divide.
It's
That'll
not
divide.
touchy. You the one making it
That'll
touchy.
divide the fan base.
It's cut and dry over here.
Hey, look, like I say, that seems to be a divisive topic in the fan base because
For who?
You know, because for people like me, because I ain't the only one that's fitted like that. And like the brother say, even D'Amico sing Nick praises. You know, I'm rocking with me and people like Brando keeping 100. Brando, you real. Keeping 100. I see why your name is keeping 100, bro. That brother keeping it 100. But to move on, man, because we're gonna disagree to disagree, guy. That'll roll us a top. That had to be a whole show. Who we give all the credit to?
I'm not disagreeing with
Bro,
it.
that hold on. That statement right there you made is how we even got here. Who we give all the credit to?
Well, no, who we give the credit to? Excuse me if I did say that. Excuse me.
That's how we got here.
But you know what, man?
Let's talk about the here and now.
So, man, look. Let's go from what do you guys think? Because this is what the topic was. What do you guys think was the deciding factor in this organization that made us get to where? Who made the change? How did we get to where we got to today? How did we get here from being 0-3 to 3-5 to where we at now, 12-5, headed into Pittsburgh?
You're talking about during this season, right?
Correct.
This season.
So I said it before. I think it's the 3-game stretch. I think it was the San Francisco 49er game, the Denver Bronco game, and then the Jacksonville Jaguar game. That 3-game stretch gave Houston the true identity in what it is as far as the defensive side of the football. Yeah. And I think that's what kind of kickstarted, because you shut down the San Francisco team at that time was averaging 30-plus points a game, even with a Mac Jones starting at quarterback. And you held them to what, 18 points? And then you go again to a Denver Broncos offense that had just 2 weeks prior had scored 30 points in a quarter against the Giants, then scored 44 points the week after that, against the Cowboys, and they weren't riding high, scoring 40-plus points, averaging 40-plus points, and then you go in there and you hold them to 18 points. And so it took a last-second field goal to win that game. And Larry, everybody knows if C.J. Stroud don't get hurt in that game, we win that game. You know, not instead of a 9-game win streak, we're talking about a 10-game win streak.
Yeah.
So, or 11-game win streak, should I say? And you go into the Jacksonville Jaguar game where, yes, Jacksonville had 29 points, but let us not forget that two of them will do the special teams. You know, you one was a punt return, or was a punt return, a kick return by Parker Washington, touchdown. And then another one was I think a fumble or something that got them in plus territory where they were able to score an easy touchdown. So that 14-point swing, you take that away, that's just 15 points again that the defense held them to, and they didn't score in the fourth quarter. So the defense found their identity. The defense found their identity in that 3-game stretch, and that's what turned the season around for the long haul, because the defense was like lights out dominant from then.
That injury in that Broncos game that CJ sustained with that concussion, it's a blessing in disguise. And the reason for that is because it allowed CJ to get healthy during that injury, and allowed the Texans as a team. Because remember, they were losing to the Jags, was 29 to whatever it was, or they were down 29 points or something. They were losing to the Jags over there on Kirby. But Davis Mills and that defense allowed them to come back and get back in this game. And then so now you at 3-5, and you can see light at the end of the tunnel, because eventually you knew you were going to get your quarterback back. And getting your quarterback back, as we've seen since then, he may not have the gaudy numbers that everybody thinks that you got to have as a franchise quarterback. What C.J. Stroud has done since he's come back has played football the way DeMeco Ryans want to play football. He hasn't turned the ball over. He hasn't been sacked a lot. He hasn't done things that make you wonder if he is a legitimate franchise quarterback. And so now you see them go on this streak where they're winning all these games, playing a type of defensive football and managing the game with the quarterback, right? And you can live with that, because what the ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl by any means necessary. I don't care if the Texans score 3 points and win the Super Bowl. Winning the Super Bowl is the key. And so what that requires is for you to have quality depth, which they have, a defense that can go on the road and play anybody, which they have, and you got to have a franchise-type quarterback. I know Trent Dilfer and Joe Flacco and all them boys won Super Bowls, but you got to have somebody that you can go into battle with that everybody wants to follow, and that's what they have with CJ. And now they've lucked up on finding Woody Marks to be able to take some of that, tote that pill, because you got to have a running game. And then these young players, Noel, Higgins, Hutchinson, these boys are starting to play.
Why you put No first?
What's that?
Why you put No first?
You know why I put it first? Because last week when you said, but I'm gonna do you, AD. I'm gonna do you one real good though, because I got to get this off before I go any further with this. The way that Dalton Schultz have played football this season is a shock to me.
Yeah,
it really is, because I didn't think that Dalton Schultz had that in it. But again,
you know he had it in him. You knew he had it in him. You just didn't want to see the vision, man.
But the fact that some of these boys that was out there hanging on, that Schultz could give us what he's giving us now, I applaud you for that, because Dalton Schultz is a key, along with getting these youngsters up to speed, to be able to go and play games when you have to play teams that you have to dominate the ball. If you go back and look at the Texans' numbers here lately, they're dominating the time of possession. They're ending the game with the ball in their possession and taking a knee in victory formation the last couple games or whatever. So those are the kind of games that we're watching, and that's what had everybody excited across the nation, that this team legitimately has a shot at going to the Super Bowl and winning it. Because if you can do those things that they've done in this 9-game winning streak for 4 more games, you're going to be the Super Bowl champ. Because you're not facing an elite group of quarterbacks that you have to fear. If Mahomes and Lamar and all these boys was in the game, this whole narrative would be completely different. But if I'm DeMeco Ryans, I got to be able to scheme for Drake May. I got to be able to scheme for Bo Nix, Because I seen Bo already, and they barely got out of Houston. So this team, as we sit here and get ready for this Monday night football game, this team legitimately do not have the kind of glaring holes that make you go, well, they may just be one and done.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at with that.
Look, Larry, somebody made a comment in the reference last night on the rundown. I don't know if it was Brando or if it was somebody else that made the comment. They was like, this is like, with all the quarterbacks being out, with Lamar and Patrick Mahomes, being out, and Josh Allen likely to be out after this first playoff game. It goes back to saying this is remnants of the Rockets in 94 and 95 when Jordan retired.
Hey, that's it.
And you got your 2 championships. I don't care if Jordan was there or not. We got our rings, and I'm running with it. The Texans get this ring. I don't care if they say, "Oh, the Texans didn't have to play Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, or Josh." No. I'm talking about
in the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm talking about we didn't play Lamar this year, but I'm just saying in the playoffs, I don't want to hear nothing. You ain't gonna tell me nothing. If somebody say, "Oh, you ain't played Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen play," I don't give a damn.
Exactly.
I got my ring. You see it right here. You see, hey, this all that matter. I don't care.
And not only that, AD, talking about the Rockets championship season in 94-95, this also is remnant of the 2017 Astros when they had to go through the Red Sox, Yankees, and the Dodgers, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to go through these kind of challenges to finally get to the ultimate prize. It's not our fault that those dudes didn't make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They played their schedule and they didn't win enough games to get there. So we played a hand that we're dealt, right? So we're the 5th seed. We're going to Pittsburgh. I got my boys beat Pittsburgh, but I'm not sitting here thinking that it's just going to be, it's just easy. I don't think that. I think you have to go with the understanding that it's a one-game season for the next 4 games. And you better show up in every aspect, from special teams to offense to defense to coaching, to be able to win this game, because it's not easy. And I believe, if to change the subject, if Jordan Ass had been there in 94, 95, they weren't going to be able to deal with it. They wouldn't have been able to deal with that dream.
Ain't nobody stopping the dream, man. Nobody.
But this playoff deal that we're about to embark on has the city engaged and fired up, because here's the thing. We legitimately have good vibes and good feelings about it, because they're going into the season. That's why it was important for them to win this last game. I thought you don't want to go into the playoffs having a loss, as far as I'm concerned. You wanted to go in with your winning streak intact. I think D'Amico, and I told him on the radio earlier today, I felt like D'Amico's been kind of pissed off because they didn't end up with the number 1 defense or overall yard defense or whatever that is. And so that gives him something to motivate those boys and the defense to say, hey, we're the number 1 defense in the league, and we lost it to the Broncos or whoever. So now we want to go out here and show the world that we're the number 1 defense. I think what D'Amico Ryans is doing now is giving these guys a lot of raw meat, because he sees the same thing that the fans are seeing. The opportunity is there to win a Super Bowl, and the opportunity is there to make sure that everything you're locked in mentally, physically, and everything to get the job done.
You know what? I came across an interesting stat too, to go against, second you with the whole turnaround of this team.
Okay.
The Texans, man, shout out to Banging the Can, man, on YouTube. I follow that guy, man. He come with a lot of, heat. I don't know if you guys follow that guy on YouTube, but tap in with him. He pretty knowledgeable. But he pointed out the fact that, this offense has scored the 2nd most points in franchise history, as opposed to that, in conjunction with that 2012 team. They scored 404 points this season, and we don't know how they did it when the offense was what they rank 18th in the league right now at 23 points a game. You know what I'm saying?
13.
13. Okay,
Yeah.
excuse me. With 23 points a game, they was averaging. And so the old I got the number here. The 2012 team had 416 yards. 416 points on the season scored. So and we talking about
with
a team
one less
that had
game.
Andre
With one less game.
Johnson, and with one less game. That's right. That's another thing. I with one less game. So you know what, man? This is more of a. It's Kyrie Fairbairn has the NFL record on field goals, if I'm not mistaken. 45, I think. And so
that sounds right.
Yeah,
44 or 45.
And so, man, it's just a testament to the complementary state again of the team, man, of how, look, think about your special teams. Think about your defense. How many, this defense is leading the league, got to be leading the league in defensive scoring. The amount of field goal blocks and punt blocks and batted down passes and the defense, the D ends and scoring. What was it, Mario Edwards?
Yeah.
Got him one too?
Yeah.
No. You talking about
who was it they got? Yeah, who was it they got?
Sheldon Rankins.
Sheldon Rankins and Togia.
Sheldon Rankins, Tommy Togia, Will Anderson, and Derek Stingley are the ones that scored the defensive touchdowns this year.
So, I mean, again, man, all of those points factor in too. So, that's what 20. I count 28 points. Well, subtract. Yeah, give them 28 points on those with the field goals. It's just a all around turnaround on the team because they started out giving up points the first 3 games of the season, and then they brought it all the way down to where they were holding them guys down about 16 points a game. The defense was, and man, now and CJ sacks have been cut in half. His sacks have been cut in half, man.
He's only been sacked 23 times this year. And as a team, they've only allowed not even 30 sacks as a team this year.
Man, look, there it is. So that's the way you want to be playing rolling into these playoffs. You can get that young man protected and get his confidence up to where he doesn't have to have happy feet. Because I believe that he was on the verge of becoming a Jake Locker or a Blake Bortles. With those, you remember?
Easy now, Blastoff. Easy.
Let me tell you what I'm saying.
Okay.
With the happy feet. Let me finish what I say. If you go back to that Ravens game, Christmas last year, go back and watch that game. Mm-hmm. Go back and watch the what was the game earlier in the season this year when he threw that interception and it went viral with the he saw him blatantly and just threw the damn interception. Like, what is he doing? What is this? What is he? I mean,
was it the first Jag game?
No, it was what was that game? It was the first game, Buccaneers game.
Okay.
And he threw that bad interception in the red zone. We were like, man, what is he doing? He wasn't sharp, and he still hasn't been. That's what CJ about to go Flacco like the Super Bowl run. CJ about to be. This is team. Somebody who was that said that? Jason Braddock said this team could be reminiscent of the 07 Giants team, and I have been saying that all season. O.C. Umenyiora. Michael Strahan, you got your Daniil Hunter and your Will Anderson, and the way they rolling in at the right time, except for this team got a better record going into the playoffs. I think that team went in 9-7, but that defense turned it up, and that offense and Eli Manning made the right plays.
You saying CJ need to be Eli?
All I'm saying is they need to. Hey, Eli was great. Do you know he went up? What was them boys? 16-0 going into the Super Bowl.
New England,
they were inviting them boys to their Super Bowl party. You know what I mean? And that was the second game, I believe. The first game, David Tyree made that incredible catch. It was just, you got to turn it on. You got to be heroic to go. You got to be great, man.
Well, you got to realize, too, that they beat the Patriots to even get in the playoffs that year.
Right.
You talking about the first year they won the Super Bowl, they had to beat the Patriots
to get in
at home. To get in the playoffs.
To get in the playoffs. Yeah.
They had to win that game, and at that time, Patriots was on the heater. So
Eli got his number. He always had his number.
Well, here's the thing. So we're 12-5, right?
Right.
And we obviously are in a position where a couple things can happen, but we're gonna just focus on Monday night. Let's focus on Monday night, right? You got to go into a place that, just from a Houston perspective, and I know it's not the Texans, but there's a lot of Houston Texans fans that are still living with the pain that happened in 78 and 79, right? And so what I've been telling people is this isn't about the Oilers. This is about the Houston Texans. This is about D'Amico Ryans going up against Mike Tomlin and that defense in Pittsburgh versus our offense, because Pittsburgh defense isn't the steel curtain. Our offense should be able to deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Pittsburgh Steelers offense should be the last game that Aaron Rodgers played, as far as I'm concerned. Because Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter and Toa and Agent Zero and all these boys should understand that they're going into a place that the elements are going to be in play, because we don't know what the weather's going to be like.
Just a little chilly.
It's going to be cold, but they've already experienced that when they went to Kansas City and was playing with no sleeves. So all that's a mental thing. You get past that, right? Yeah. But the fact of the matter is that offensively, Pittsburgh isn't somebody. I know they get DK back, but they're not somebody that anybody on that defense is going to fear, because we have the kind of defensive scheme that allows us to stay in football games. If anybody thinking Pittsburgh just going to go out there and just put 50 up on the Texans, you're a sad mistake. You crazy. So my point is that you have to play the game within the game. And the game within the game is what has gotten you to the playoffs. Play strong defense and give me anywhere from 20 to 24 points and let the chips fall where they may. I believe that D'Amico Ryans and everybody over there on Kirby understand what's in front of them going into Pittsburgh on Monday night. And if you just go up there and let the chips fall, you may have a game at home the following week. And we know what that'll be like. So I'm just saying, I believe just in the energy that's surrounding the team right now, the way these boys have that swagger, I'm all in on what these boys can do in these playoffs.
That leads me to another question. Who do you want to see coming up next? Me personally, I really want, man, them Jaguar fans, I want to just go and put them boys in their place, dog. Them boys been running their mouth. I see cats talking about, man, I ain't even know Jacksonville had fans, up until this season. They've been loud, been posting little memes and whatnot. We own the Jags, and I want to put them back in their place and put their mouth. I would love to go to Jacksonville in the divisional round and shut them cats up, man. That'd be the heartbreaker right there for them boys. Sit back down, because we know we own this division. We know we were a fumble away that first game from sweeping them again this season. We were a Darryl Agumbawale fumble, and Nico got fumbled too. And it was a tip pass that flew into the hands of the what's their safety name at the end of the game, because we were driving about to, I think we was gonna take the lead on them boys.
Yeah.
So
you saying you want to see the Jags?
Man, I want to see the Jags, bro. But you know what? I don't think they're gonna get past, Josh Allen. But
Buffalo.
We gonna see them boys. But you know what? We gotta. This first of all, this division, it ain't little boy division no more.
No,
it ain't the
it's grown.
The AFC South of old.
It's grown man football.
These boys, the Jags have turned it around. I got to give kudos to Liam Cohen. They offensive coordinator. That boy scheming these guys open. He's scheming his players open.
Yeah, forget all that. Forget all that. Kudos and congratulations,
man.
The great Bill O'Brien said it best. Doesn't matter, Brian. Doesn't matter, Brian.
Hey, man.
Well, I'll tell you this. It don't matter. I don't give a damn who they play in the next round. I'm focused on Pittsburgh. Yeah. Once I get past Pittsburgh, if you tell me we got to go play on the East Coast in Buffalo and it's negative 18 degrees outside, You know what? You gotta go.
You gotta do it.
You gotta go play. You gotta go play football. Look, this ain't that complicated. You have all the tools over there in that building.
Definitely.
To be able to go out there and win football games.
Definitely.
The only thing that you have to do, don't turn the football over. I would like for them to score first. That'd help. And then, anytime that a quarterback get out the pocket, you hit him. Because I'm going to try, that's what all these analysts on TV that are talking sports and talking about these playoffs, they're telling you the Texans are gonna hit you.
That's right. They're gonna hurt you.
And if your quarterback wants to get exposed, put him out there. So whoever we play in the next round, let me get through this first round, drinking all this yak and eating up all this food that I'm gonna eat up, man, because this is an exciting time to be a Texan fan because everything that we're looking at is something that we've been waiting over 20 years to really have this experience. Because this is what I wanted to say earlier. As diehard Houston Texans fans that we all are, it's always been where we had the offense that was ready, the defense wasn't ready. Then we had the defense was ready, then the offense wasn't ready. And then Fat Albert fell on Matt Shaw's foot, and then now we got everybody needs to know what Liz Frank is. And then once we got past Liz Frank, then all of a sudden here come trading DeAndre Hopkins and Bill O'Brien taking his butt to Kansas City and blowing a 24-point lead. When we would have had the AFC game at Houston the following week with Deshaun and if we'd have held that lead. So we've been through a lot of ups and downs with this franchise. But in 2025, this is the most complete and possibly the best Texans team that I've seen since their inception, because they have the administration over there knocking it out the park. They got the coaching staff over there knocking it out the park, because I think their special teams are ranked number 3. Their defense is obviously ranked number 1. The offense is 13th or whatever, which is right in the middle of the pack or whatever. We all thought the offense was horrible because I wanted to go and find Nick Caley over at Kroger's almost every week. But they finished 13th, and I'm trying to still wrap my brain around that. But obviously they've done some stuff that allowed them to be able to move up in those rankings, right? So when you look at the totality of how they play football, there's a theme about everything that they do over there on Kirby, man. And I know I'm taking up a lot of time, but I just wanted to say that they have the balance. I've heard head coaches, Tony Dungy, Rex Ryan, all these coaches, they are seeing the same thing that we're seeing, that this team is a danger in the playoffs. And that's the exciting part for me, because that kind of excitement is what I've been longing for since they came back to the H, since in 1999, 2002, man. That's what we've been looking for.
And you know what? Let me say this, man. All respects, because this team doesn't go 12-5, and we gonna make it obvious. This team doesn't go 12-5 without DeMeco Ryans. That guy's a hell of a coach. It takes a hell of a coach to take your team to do repeat in history. Wasn't 2 times. No team has went 0-3 twice and went to the playoffs. Or was it 2 or 3 times? You know, it takes a special coach to lift your team up when everybody's the stands are empty and you're down 19 points going into the 4th quarter against a division rival. It takes a special kind of coach, man, to get your team to 12-5, running through 9 straight wins in a row, tying a franchise record of 9 in a row. That was the right choice. That was a hell of a choice. That was the right choice. And you can get and we can go back and say Caserio all we want, and being honest, but Caserio can't get these guys motivated to run through brick. Literally, these guys are run through brick walls. They practice rough. That's why these guys had to build their bodies up. That's why a lot of guys were getting hurt, practices and stuff, because they were turning up the practice. You play how you practice. I believe that.
it's the coaching. I mean, that's football. It's about the coaching, the administrative side with the building the roster and managing the roster and all of that stuff. That's all behind the scenes stuff. What you see on Sundays is the coaching and the belief that the players have in that coaching staff. But going back to what DeMeco Ryans, what DeMeco Ryans was able to do after that 0-3 start is something that we're probably going to talk about for a while, because we all know once you start having that kind of stress in your life, it's easy to go the other way. Everybody started, pointing fingers at each other. People start talking and getting selfish. But that, if you notice, every time they put a camera in front of Will Anderson, he never said anything that was a detriment, that how they weren't playing, about the offense. They never started backstabbing and backfighting each other. And that tells you that culture over there is ingrained. And if you don't know anything else, it's like how y'all run your house. There's a system in place that in your house that has to be honored, right? That's the same thing it is with that football team over there. There's a culture over there that DeMeco Ryans will never deviate from. He'll never, because he understands that everything is a moving part. He understands that if you don't have a foundation, which his defense obviously is his foundation, then you're just spinning your wheels. And so now that they've gotten all of it in an equal balance, now just going out there and just trying to do what you're capable of doing, which is winning football games.
Hey, and you know what? Yeah. They got everything in front of them, like the title of the stream. The Houston Texans have everything in front of them. Go ahead. I honestly think that Aaron Rodgers is going to use his experience to try to come through,
of course,
and try to, because he's seen it all. Long as somebody that's played as long as he's played. Aaron Rodgers is 42 years old now. He's seen it all. It ain't nothing you gonna throw at him that he ain't seen. Ferocious
his discount done double checked.
And you know what? the Steelers are a yards after catch team. And the Texans ain't a good. You're not going to get those yards after catches with the Texans. So as long as they out of their own heads, get out the past. This is the new Texans, and I think that's how they've been playing. We don't care what has happened in the past. You have a job to do. You got a man in front of you, and is that man better than you? You can have one arm. He showed them that video. I preach this again. He showed them that video of that British boxer had his shoulder dislocated, was getting whipped on, but just kept throwing punches, and he ended up eventually knocking that guy out. That's what kind of coach you got. That's his mindset. It don't matter what your situation is. You have no excuses. You got a job to do. You want to be great, you're going to have to be great in the most vulnerable of times.
Well, also too, and AD, you jump on this too, man. This is one of the first times that they've gone into the playoffs where they haven't had any health issues, right?
Amen.
Because getting Trent Brown back this week, getting Ursary back last week, and getting Lassiter and getting these boys healthy, because it's a grind. To win these 4 games is going to be a grind, man.
They don't have all his wide receivers for the first time this season.
Exactly. So
not all of them.
Yeah, we know Tank. You know who we been.
So I'm a counter that in saying that yes, the Texans, instead of the Texans getting these major injuries late in the season, they had theirs last year and this all season. Because if Tank, Dale, and Joe Mixon are healthy,
correct,
this is an unstoppable train, no doubt about it.
Correct.
So yes, the Texans are going into this relatively healthy, considering that they haven't had any major losses, even though they've lost 3 defensive tackles during the season. And we're still rolling with Tommy T and Sheldon Rankins. But yes, I do feel like they're prime in position to make a run because, again, what they do well travels and can beat any team. Whoever they put in front of them, they can beat because of what they do well. They play great defense. They don't allow the opponents to score. and we tied the record for the most field goals in the history of the league. So I look at it like this. The Texans, I think, in 13 out of 17 games held their opponents to 20 or less points.
Yeah.
If the Texans get 20,
Keep doing what they've been doing. Yeah.
keep doing what they're doing, and they're gonna be able to win the game because they're gonna get turnovers. They're gonna put you in plus territory. They're gonna get they're gonna get CJ and Kaimi the opportunity to put points on the board consistently. So again, we talked about ball control and everything like that, but this right here is the prime opportunity, and I'm just ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to go ahead and lock in Monday night. I need
You're gonna see the
everybody.
Texans you ain't seen all season. Let me ask you this though, AD. I got a quick question for you. Who do you feel, for both of you gentlemen, who do you feel is the leader on this offense? Because you mentioned Joe Mixon, which we know that brother and Stephon Diggs, they neither one of them here. Who is the new leader? And I got a guy that I think, but I want to know if you're on two opinions. Who do you think is the offensive? And Chad, if you got it, who do you think is the offense or the leader on the offense on this team?
I'm gonna let you go, AD.
Lead on the offense?
Yeah.
Titus Howard.
That's it. That's
See?
mine. That was mine. That's what I was gonna say.
What Titus has done, again, we don't have to be philosophical about this, but what he's done is everything that they've asked him to do. Because since he's been here, whenever they've asked him to move, he's done it, right? And he solidified a young group of guys over there on that offensive line, showing the kind of leadership that it takes to gel that offensive line along with Popovich. Because again, when you change out your system, which they did with that offensive system from Slowick to Cade, right? And then you're changing out the entire offensive line, there was going to be some struggles. So they went through those growing pains to finally settle on Trent Brown and Ursary, right? And Jake Andrews at center. And then that
people don't realize how big that dude is. Look, go. If y'all ain't seen him in person, man, first of all, I've met Titus Howard and shook Titus Howard's hand and stood next to Titus Howard. Titus Howard is a legit 6'5", 6'6" without cleats.
correct.
Okay, this man is towering over Titus Howard like it's nothing. Okay, Trent Brown is legit. I know they list him at 6'8". He's a legit 6'10" and about 400. So this is a humongous human being.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
I need y'all to realize that, man.
Well, I realize it because I have seen Trent, and you're absolutely right. There's no way he's 6'6" or 6'7". That dude is pushing 6'9", 6'10" or something. And obviously, the way him and Titus was eating those oysters the other day, I saw that video. That tell me they don't miss no meals. But let me say this about the playoffs again. If you think about the Texas schedule, let's list the names of all the teams in the playoffs that the Texans have played: the Broncos, the Rams, the Jaguars, the 49ers, the Chargers. They've been tested against these teams that they're getting ready to see again in the next 4 weeks, right?
Yeah, the Bills. You said the Bills, right?
The Bills.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They didn't, and so they've seen these people. So you have some working knowledge of what is going to be required of you because you've played them before. So now the only thing that I'm concerning myself with, and I've been waiting to get to this point. The only thing that I'm concerning myself with, does Nick Caley have the balls to call plays in the playoffs that is winning football plays? I have been adamant about when the Texans get a turnover, you go for the juggler.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to throttle down after they get a lead. I don't live in that world. I live in a world where you put their ass in the dirt and throw some more dirt on top of. Because I don't want you to get back up. Nick Haley has to now have enough of his offense. That damn offense better have been installed by now. You
Larry,
figure,
he's still learning, Larry. He's still learning.
hey man, if that remedial learning that he doing or whatever is requiring that much learning, that's a problem. How much learning do you need to have to know that if somebody zero blitz me, I got to have a high read AD? How much learning do you have to know I got to get Jalen Noel a football in his hands quick and keep the chains moving? Those kind of things, man.
Why you keep bringing up Jalen Noel?
Because Nick Haley.
Why you didn't say Jay Higgins?
Okay, how about Hutch? I like the way Hutch been
There
playing
you go.
too.
That better.
Yeah.
That better.
But I'm just looking at the fact that use every asset available to you so that you know that you're putting your team in the best position. This team doesn't have the flaws that we're accustomed to seeing. This team has the things that are in place to go out and win a football game on Monday night and prepare themselves for week 2. That's how I feel about it. That's what I've been thinking about all week, because I know that what I've seen them come through as far as adversity and the teams that they played this season, they shouldn't fear nobody. They've seen it before.
Well, you know what, fellas? Hey, man, we can get towards the end here, and we can push out some good. Where do you see, or what do you think it's gonna take for us to do the impossible, the improbable, the things that they say we couldn't do, the place that we got? It was impossible for us to get here according to the world. It was impossible for us to be 0-3 and then 5-3. I mean 3-5 and then winning, 9 straight. So what do you think it's gonna take for us to get to this finish line, man? I'm gonna start with you, AD.
Play turnover-free football and keep playing excellent defense that you always been playing this whole season. That is going to get you to where you need to go. Right. Limit your turnovers, play excellent defense, and just put 20 points on the board, and you going to the Super Bowl.
That's right. What about you, G?
Look, y'all know how it is, man. The defense wins football games, right? I need for everybody on that defense to understand what's in front of them when they face each other. I need Petrie to show up. I need Toa and EJ Speed and all them boys to limit what Warren and all those dudes. But what I also need is for CJ Stroud to figure out real quick how to be that dog that we know that's inside him. I need CJ Stroud to cut it loose, man. And look, I'm a big believer. I have faith in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and all that other stuff too. But I need my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to give me a Super Bowl ring. So CJ, that's what I need you to do. I need you to play football at a level that we haven't seen you play this year, but we know it's in you because we saw you do it your rookie year. Play that kind of football, man.
We've seen him do it against Georgia. That's what got him here. That's
exactly.
They got him here.
Exactly.
That game, had Henry Ruggles made that kick, we wouldn't have had C.J. Stroud. Carolina would have took him.
Yeah.
Because what's his name, McGowan, we saw that interview, that player, what they went to, his pro day. I think that was his pro day, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. But he was, hey, we'll see you, in Carolina.
Josh McGowan.
McGowan.
Yeah.
And, man, I think that at the end of the day, man, what's going to get us here is just to continue to know that no matter what, man, you're going to have to push. It ain't going to be pretty. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Nobody better than you. They can't mess with you. Aaron Rodgers, hey, put it in your mind. We got to knock this up. We got to go and put him in this play. We didn't already knock down Josh Allen several times. We didn't slew the dragon of Patrick Mahomes. Slew him. Gave him his worst game of his career. Gave the brother the worst game of his career. And Aaron Rodgers, it's time to put him to bed too. We just going through knocking down giants of the league, historic giants. The one we couldn't get to, and however you spend it, I know I wasn't scared. I was bringing it on, but Lamar Jackson, we have a hard time with Lamar. But I kind of wish we would have went on ahead and went up against him. In Baltimore, it's a tall task, but still, the chips fell how they fell. And hey, we gonna play who in front of us. So
let me follow up with this real quick, Blastoff. I believe the Texans have been playing playoff football since they were 3-5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it was life or death in terms of what their season was going to look like, right? So they run off those 9 straight, and that gets them to 12. So they have been under that kind of stress for the last 9 weeks, right? So nothing should change.
That's right.
Your body should have adapted to that kind of stress already. And so now, when you're talking about quarterback play and things like that, you're going to face some dudes that may make some plays, but don't make those plays be the plays that cost you the game.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. There's no denying that. But at 42 years old, I'll take my chances with that defense over there the way Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter hunt, man.
Yeah.
And if Aaron Rodgers beat them boys, I'm going to tip my cap to him and keep it moving. I just don't see it happening, fellas.
Well, look, I tell you what, fellas, man, this was a great deal here, what we did tonight, man, and I appreciate you fellas for tapping in. But before we get up out of here tonight, I want to just go ahead and wrap this thing up with score predictions of what we think going to happen Monday night, and where we see is going to be the keys to victory. I just want your keys to victory and where you see the score leading up, man. We're going to start off with you, Larry.
I got the Texans winning 24-14.
What you think going to have to happen to get it done?
Hey, man, I just told you, I need C.J. Stroud to play quarterback at a level that's required of him, that fits what that defense is going to do, because we know they going to show up. I just need my offense to just give me enough of a reason to believe that they can put points up against Pittsburgh, because I don't believe Pittsburgh defense is stout enough to stop our squad. Yeah. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say 27-10.
27-10.
27-10. It's not gonna be as close. And I think the Texans are gonna dominate this game like they've dominated quite a few games on the defensive side of the football. Give Aaron Rodgers hell. And he gonna call it a career, and Mike Tomlin gonna lose his job, unfortunately. Same like John Harbaugh lost his job. So Houston Texans gonna win this game outright and cap off the wild card round of the playoffs and move on to the next round and take on whoever is in front of them and beat them too.
Hey, you know what? 27-10. You got that from AD. I myself, I see it being we going into Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
You know, and just like how they slept on, well, they first of all, they're not going to be asleep, because you know what you're facing going into a hostile environment in Pittsburgh. But
yes,
I think that we didn't give enough credit to Pete Carroll when we did go up against the Raiders, because, you know, Pete Carroll, you know, he won a Super Bowl, played in a couple of Super Bowls, and I think that the Texans are going to have, I'm going to be honest, you hate to hear it, but and at the end of the day, I think they're going to have a dog fight with the fact that that terrible towel going to be there loud. They're going to be crunk. Aaron Rodgers this is his last hurrah, and so he's going to give it all he got, man, and he's going to use his X factor to try to go ahead and dice up. But I think we're going to be too much for him in the end, and I think the Texans go ahead and hold these guys to 17. I think they're going to score 17, but I think the Texans are going to do just enough and put up 24-17 is what I think we're going to have, man, and take that and move on to probably Buffalo or whoever.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. But guys, again, man, hate to shut it down early, man. But well, it ain't early, it's late, guys. We appreciate everybody for tapping in. First of all, everybody that tapped in,
Yes, sir.
man. That tapped in to fellowship with us tonight in the chat. Appreciate y'all. Y'all be sure to like and follow, man, the Real Texas Talk. Y'all be at Blastoff ENTCO on YouTube, at Blastoff_ENT on Twitter and TikTok. And I'm gonna start pushing more content. And I got some special interviews, man. If y'all been following my content, I go around the stadiums and everywhere we go, man, and get the feel of the fan bases, man. And I got some special exclusive interviews coming out, man, this week before the game drops. So y'all stay tapped in with that. And I'm going to start pushing everything over to TikTok, a lot of this stuff. So y'all be able to tap into that TikTok at Blastoff_ENT. Shout out AD. Appreciate you too, brother.
Yes,
H-Town Rundown, man. What you got coming up? I'm supposed to be tapping in with him this Friday, so y'all can catch me again. And I'm gonna be in his territory. So hey, we're gonna have to bring it, man. We're gonna have to bring it, man. But what you got? You got anything you want to say, bro, before you get up out of here? You got anything you got going on?
Nah, y'all just make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the H-Town Rundown on all the platforms on YouTube, on Twitter, as well as Instagram, my website, htownrundown.org, Facebook as well. So we're on all the different platforms, TikTok as well. Y'all make sure y'all tap in and follow the H-Town Rundown on all platforms. And that's it, man. We'll see y'all Friday.
Hey, Larry.
All right. Look here, man. Hey, Blastoff, I appreciate you letting us get in, man, and chop it up about the excitement that the city's feeling. I know as I move around the city, I was over at Texas Radio last night with Vandermeer and John Harris, and you can just feel the energy around the city, man, that people are really excited about the potential this team is going to show us. And so I thank you for that, man. I want Texas fans to know y'all know where to find that boy from Stafford, man. It's going to be on TikTok. It's going to be on Twitter, Larry and Stafford. And y'all just click and follow and just appreciate the energy that we bring, man, because we all in this thing together, because I think we all want the same thing.
That's it.
Because I believe real quick that this is a championship city, and once we get a Super Bowl, this city gonna explode, man. And I can't wait for it, man, because it's just something I've always wanted my entire life, just to be able to walk around this city knowing that this city is a Super Bowl championship city, man. So, again, man, you know how I feel about H-Town Rundown, AD. I cut for you. Blastoff, you and I, chop it up how we do, man. But it's all about getting that ring, man. And I appreciate everything that you boys out there doing with that content and our hall.
Appreciate you, fellas. God bless everybody that tapped in. God bless you, fellas, man. And we'll be back with another one soon, man. Y'all can catch me on the H-Town Rundown this Friday, man. Tapped in with your boy AD, man. We're going to keep this thing going, talking Texas, man. Go more in depth to this thing, man. But look, y'all have a good night, man. Y'all go ahead and say your prayers. Thank the good Lord for feeding us and blessing us, man. And I'll let y'all myself, man. Y'all been watching Real Texas Talk, where you get the real takes from real fans, keeping it real H-Town, baby. We'll be back with another one. Peace out.
Peace.
Appreciate you, brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, man. All right.
Appreciate you, brother. God bless you. Good night, man. And, I know you're gonna have your topics for me to get on.
Yeah.
Friday, man.
Yeah, we're gonna be ready to roll out.